Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to be checking out Oz's latest video, and we're going to be going through it and live reacting to it to see our personal thoughts on it and kind of digest it through a different medium. So instead of just watching him, you can get it from us and understand maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. We'll try and give some context. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So it's the Pyerite panic. What is Pyerite? Why are we panicking? I'm so glad you asked. Let's find out.
And
well, I can go ahead and start. Pyerite is a mineral in EVE Online. There's lots of minerals. Their mining generally generates minerals, and apparently something weird is going on with it.
As usual, let's start by looking at Plex and Plex adjacent items.
And yes, Trigenic, you can call me Professor Dimensional.
Plex is slightly down, 1%. All right.
All right, Plex down. That's totally fine.
It's still very high.
Oh, let me also. Let me fix my face real quick. That way we can see Oz. All right. I know you guys hate this, but it is what it is for now. Don't worry.
Was it 6.1 sell price last time I checked in jita, and so yeah, 6.16. Still very expensive. It has dropped a little bit.
It's still over 6 bill or 6 mil.
New Eden Store sale that put a lot of pressure on it. Now it's just settled in around that 6 million position, which we're bound to stay at unless something majorly changes in the EVE economy. I think if anything, Plex prices are still rising. So
the economy is still going up.
Campaigning
hey
to
bitch, you are forcing your viewers to watch
ad time
now,
especially
but not for YouTube.
To introduce
just Twitch time.
New ways to get more Plex onto the market, because clearly at a $20 at a $20 subscription cost to EVE Online,
yeah,
it's important to have Plex.
So just talking about the $20 subscription price is, there are people trying to fight for bringing it back down, and I legitimately think like it might happen, because like the $20 price only hurts new players. Anyone who knows basically anything is going to wait for a sale to get your Omega, and not only like a sale, but you're gonna like do the 24-month like half off Plex sale and like double dip with the Plex and it's like the higher price only affects those who it shouldn't affect. So it's kind of really annoying in that way.
It's available for those players that are not able to afford it. And in the end, I think if Plex prices do get too high, we are going to have just an affordability problem among the player base. And in a way, the Plex price is just a reflection of this sub price and the reliance on sales in the New Eden Store. But we're actively discussing things out of that, and hopefully at some point we'll find a good solution. So right now it's rather logical that we have a 1% drop in Plex prices. The second thing is the 0.7% slight drop in injector prices, and that continues from last week. In the last 2 or 3 weeks, a lot of people
not a whole lot going on there,
up or renewing their skill farms because of that massive New Eden Store sale we had on Omega Time and on multiple character training certificates. And so it's just logical for skill injectors to right now be moving down. I don't expect them to rise in price anytime soon. I think the overall direction on large skill injectors is rather down, even though the skill farming formula that you see here is still, if you are using a 12-month Plex.
So if you don't know, if you're pretty new to Oz Eve, this is the skill farming calculator. And basically the way you read this is that all of this is one account. If you have only one character doing skill farming, which is basically turning all of their skill points into large skill injectors with skill extractors. If you have one character, this is how much SP they output. This is the number of large skill injectors that you fill for a month. This is how much Plex is required if you're doing a 12-month sub to get the first Omega, and then these are going to be the multi-character trains, which is slightly cheaper. This is the what is the SE cost? The skill extractor cost, including your fees, your plex costs for your omegas and whatnots. This is the total expensive. This is the revenue. And as you can see, it is negative. When you see parentheses in Excel, it means that it's negative. So if you have one character doing it, it's negative. If you have two characters doing it, it's still negative, but less. It is still totally negative, but a less amount than than the first character. But together, these total up to like 800 million and then a billion. So for your account, it's still 1 billion ISK. So it's not worth making skill farms right now. But let's see what Oz has to say.
Next subscription price, then we're still talking about losing 1 billion per account per month if you're doing it on 3 characters, which you wouldn't be. But even running one character on one account loses you 600 million ISK per account. That, having said that, if you did take advantage of the sale last time, as we covered in the last Oz report, then this negative 1 billion would turn into a positive 700 million. So the only people really doing skill farming efficiently are the ones that took advantage of that sale and that were able to acquire the plex needed.
Yeah. So during, like, right before the new year, there was an incredible sale where not only plex was discounted, but also game time, Omega game time. So you could basically buy plex discounted and then use that discounted plex on a discounted Omega. So it made things a lot cheaper. And like, if you're in the know, if you can wait, then you can really take advantage of these things. And if you're not, then you might be stuck doing like the $20 sub, which it feels bad that you're making your new players eat the most shit, you know?
At a price where it's still profitable. So, you know.
And if it's not clear, if it's not obvious, I really hate the $20 sub price. I think it's stupid. 15 is fine. Everyone else does 15. Just bring it back to 15.
X steady or going up, LSI rather going down. Skill extractors, on the other hand, are going to be in higher demand because skill extractors are going to be needed to run these new found skill farms, and so they are up.
Oh, you're also saying it means like 2 to 3 weeks ago, there was a sale in nests of sub plus 2 times sub length of MCT. Ah, right. So there was also that sale where, yeah, you got whatever your sub time was, and then also you got 2 times that amount in MCT, which basically is perfect for skill farming because you can more cheaply get all of your account multi-character trained.
0.5%. They're still rather cheap. So if we look at skill extractors in game here,
and if you
can
got
see
the plex from before, from the previous sale,
we're not fully recovered yet to that last sell point before the massive sale hit. And clearly skill extractors are a big part of that skill farming formula. But with the obvious fact that that last New Eden Store sale was very popular and clearly a lot of people used it to renew their skill farms or set up skill farms, I think the pricing for skill extractors is going to be on the way up until we have another one of those massive sales, which could happen at any time. None of it can, none of us can control that. So I still think I still have a bunch I haven't sold yet because I do think that at some point we're going to break that 550. We're currently in the forge at around 540. Let's see where that goes. But certainly in very, very high demand. There isn't a lot of skill extractors left in the market, even though we did have a recent sale where skill extractors were part of the deal, I think, just a couple of weeks ago. And so CCP is doing their best to keep things flowing. Nice. Let's quickly talk about hypercores, right? Because
hypercores,
I know a lot of you guys are
we have some of
those to come back up.
Yeah, I'm waiting for hypercores to come back up.
They're not doing well.
They've been flat for a long time.
Just absolutely flooded the market with hypercores, and the chat changes that you can now filter out anything related to hypercores, and jita chat also is probably not helping. Still, hypercores are a very popular item. If you look at overall traded volume, it's still clear that a lot of people still are using the hypernet and are using hypercores. So I do think that it's a matter of time, and I cannot imagine a CCP running another 2-for-1 sale on hypernets. But hey, on hypercores. But hey, who knows?
Who knows?
If they do another sale, as Milano says in chat, if they do another sale, then I think it's going to be over for hypercores.
It's all over.
They might never recover. And this is somebody who, as you may know, has bought a lot of hypercores in the last sale. So I was speculating on them returning to 400k in prices, and I'm still hopeful because I mean, in the end, this is just a question of how big
it's
is
like
the stockpile
400k is like
out there,
here.
how quickly can it be used up, and
will it ever get to 400k?
Yeah,
we'll see.
It is.
I'm not that hopeful. Unless there's a new use for him or something.
On to the other items. Let me quickly say one thing about brain freeze cerebral accelerators. Right?
Ooh,
so
brain freeze.
If we're looking at our cerebral accelerators down here, then you can see that right here, the brain freeze cerebral accelerators, those were the cerebral accelerators that were dropped.
So this is also a really cool chart. And also, if you really want, you can get all of these graphs and whatnot for yourself. He has a website, oz.eve, I want to say. If I'll link it down in the description below, but you can also go to his video and find out whatever that video or to find his website. But you can get all of this information at your fingertips, whatever you want. And you can also like see here, like this is, if you're curious, you can always pause the screen. You can see like these are the different SP items, and this is kind of like what they do. They instantly give you this. This is how much SP you're going to gain from them. This is going to be the forage buy price, forage percent sale price. And then this is the ISK per SP. And this is the ISK per SP per second, and then per billion. I don't know exactly what these are, but suffice it to say, green better. So these potent brain freeze cerebral accelerators are very cheap and very good, but also daily alpha injectors. And if you guys watch this channel, I love to do the alpha gameplay. I've talked about how if you are starting the game, you probably shouldn't get Omega. Just go alpha for a while. And then once you reach your 5 million skill points, or even before that, just eat daily alpha injectors if you want that extra SP, if you want to be training faster, because these things are incredibly efficient. They're very cheap and very good. So if you're an alpha, make sure that you are chugging your daily alpha injectors. It's like protein. Buy order and sell order. Okay, that makes sense.
Winter Nexus event, they increase your attributes so that you learn and acquire skill points faster. Specifically, you can see how many skill points you would get right there in this column right here, between 17 and 77,000.
Hey, Swedish, I'm doing good. Welcome in.
In terms of ISK per SP efficiency, they're fantastic, right? They're absolutely fantastic value. I have a blog entry on that on the oz.space if you want to check that out. The problem is that they expire next week. So if you have them, make sure you use them.
Yeah.
And some of them have almost disappeared from the market. So I think the potent ones, for example, have almost entirely disappeared from the market. So make sure that you if you have them, you take them. If you want to buy them, they're still very, very good price, and you can use them up until the last day. So most efficient way right now to gain SP in the game in terms of ISK. Even though it's slow, but hey,
unless you're an alpha
helps, right?
Then even alpha is better. The daily alpha is better than those.
Now let's move on to moon materials. Moon materials, we've seen a big up and down, but overall prices still sliding downwards. You can see that most of them are dropping, and some of them rather quickly. If you look at R60 moon materials, for example, R4 and R8s are still, because of the Metanox introduction, still trading way below 52-week average. one thing that is bucking the
Yeah.
trend is
So the Metanox new moon drills, if you don't know about these, is that they are this new auto mining equipment. But the thing is, with these, they mine the moon for the gases, whereas traditional moon mining gets you some minerals as well. But now they've automated a lot of these moons that are only getting gases. So where are the minerals?
technetium. So
Let's find out.
technetium is an R32 moon material, and it's just completely out of control. If we look here at the dashboard, you can see that technetium is up 35% in price.
Technetium.
So, and it's almost gone from the market. If you look at availability, it's slid out of here, but there's around half a trade day left of technetium in the market, and it's just one of those things where if you have it lying around, if you're like me and you're an investor in the market, then right now is an absolute fantastic time to sell technetium. I have started liquidating stockpiles as quickly as possible. I'm going to say it's for the good of the market to drive prices down, but clearly I'm also making a lot of profit on this. But you gotta if you have it right now is a good time. What I've seen in the last day or two is that there's a lot of demand for technetium. Like if you put up technetium at good prices right now, it will immediately sell. So clearly,
nice. I don't use any
there's not enough
technetium.
left. R32s are,
but apparently a lot of people, other people
so if
do.
we look at the overall, let's see. Oh yeah, here it is. If you look at which
this is a real cool chart.
Moon material is metanoxed at the most, you can see that R16 clearly has the highest ratio of metanox, followed by R8.
So here,
and
then
then
here.
probably already R32s. Clearly lots and lots of
32 and
fluctuation
R4
going
is
on
pretty
right now
close.
in moon materials. Remember, this is jita pricing, so this might be wildly different in alliances that
and
are
then
mining these
basically no 64
using them,
because 64 is actually useful
overall,
to mine
clearly
yourself.
There's a shortage right now in just market availability for technetium, and it's kind of bucking the trend of moon materials overall. I want to quickly talk about abyssal materials and the Icatursa, because we talked about this earlier on
abyssal
stream.
materials.
The Icatursa, you see it a few times here. One is the largest supply drop. You can see that 70% less supply in Icatursa in the forge now than it was last week.
Oh, wow.
And that just means that
lots of people are buying.
A lot of the Icatursa supply has been eradicated, has been bought out. If you look at Zekiel, you look at who flies the Icatursa, it's clearly, Wormhole ship. You see Hard Knocks is one of the top alliances flying it. We looked at that on stream earlier and see that here. And there have been a series of evictions and fights going on in Wormhole space, and so clearly this is just, some alliances bolstering their supply of Icatursas, driving up the price quite significantly. The price for the Icatursas is already up 25%. And also the heavy entropic disintegrator 2, the weapon that
the weapon
put on that ship is up 36%. So clearly lots and lots of demand for this.
So like here,
ship.
if you're doing manufacturing, if you're doing abyssals, like you watch the Oz report and you wait until he says something that's relevant to you, and then you pounce. Like if you can make Icatursas, or if you can make heavy entropic disintegrators, because you've done a lot of abyssal stuff, do it now, because you'll be making some good money for it.
This should also drive demand for abyssal materials. So, for example, crystalline isogen 10, and you can see that.
Yep. People have bought a lot of this.
80% drop in the availability of crystalline isogen 10, which you get from abyssal.
So even if you're not a big marketeer, even if you're not a big industrial person, you're gonna, if you do abyssals, you're gonna get this. You could sell it at any old time that you want, or you could wait until there's some real need for it. So that's why it's kind of good to like have like investment assets a little bit. Like don't immediately sell everything unless you need the ISKs.
in abyssal space, and also 0-point condensate, which is the other abyssal material that goes in there, and that's down
same thing.
0.5% as well. But the absolute main ingredient in Ikiterisas is the 0-point field manipulators, and if we look at those in game, then you can see that even those have been driving up in price quite significantly. So they've been
getting a
on
big
a
tick
downward
up
spiral because of over availability, because of the popularity of Pochven content, and then now we're talking about a shortage and a good buy opportunity. So somebody in chat is saying they were bought out already earlier today. So clearly now the race is on, possibly for a renewed interest in Triglavian ships, and
interesting.
possibly also because of changes that are either have been made to Pochven content or that might be looming from discussions that are going on. If you're interested about that, then listen to some of the discussions we've had with Drake on stream. You're going to see possibly an end to the oversupply of 0-point field manipulators, which are governing Ikitursa prices. Now, I don't think the current Ikitursa price is going to hold because it's quite expensive, but
a little bit of secret CSM talk there, eh?
Another ship that is popping up here on our dashboard is the porpoise.
The porpoise? What's the porpoise doing?
In very short supply.
Is it
currently? And
it's going up.
There are several other ships where this applies to. This is the porpoise. If you look at what it's made of.
What is a porpoise made of?
We can look at that in the. I hate how they changed the interface. I can't find.
Okay,
but if you look at what is this actually made of?
Actually, no.
Right then.
This is annoying.
Made up completely of basic minerals.
Okay, it is still made up of basic stuff.
Right now, we're going through a time of.
But this is going to be like any T1 ship, right?
And very expensive minerals. So except for technetium and isogen, all the other minerals are just racing to the top. And so ships like the porpoise, which is currently a very, very popular mining ship, right? Industrial command ship. Those are going to rise in price. There's continued demand for it. Minerals keep on rising, and so it's not surprising that we're seeing the demand the supply drop, the prices rise, and the demand staying the same. And so
it's a basic mineral bank. Yeah, but like every T1 ship is though, right? So why are not all T1 ships? I mean, battleships. Oh my god, the prices of battleships are rising
because of
it's gross.
The Metanox moon changes. We discussed that at length
because T1 battleships take a lot of minerals, like based on like what they are.
Let's move on to Pyerite, because it's very serious.
It's Pyerite, baby.
If we're talking,
let's talk about the Pyerite crazy. Oh god, this is the first time I've actually seen this graph.
It's basically gone from the market. We're talking about Pyerite prices that are 27.
I should go sell all my Pyerite.
Put the wrong sell.
I bought a lot of it a while ago.
This is
wait, the Corp has so much Pyerite.
Massive, but the problem is not.
I need to tell
the
Corp to sell.
So availability of Pyerite at half a trade day is just way too low. And
double your ISK, because you can double your ISK.
Pyerite is a byproduct of active R4 moon mining, and that has that supply has significantly shrunk as people are even moon mining R4 moons, the very low value moons, because it seems to be still profitable, even though the Metanox changes, the several Metanox changes that we've seen. And one main reason for that is the magmatic gas, which the Metanox moon drills use, is massively oversupplied and very, very cheap. And so
how do you like CCP, how do they fuck it so hard? Like, is it not just pretty basic math to figure out like, oh, if you're going to do this many R32 16/8s, like, I don't know.
Pyerite shortage, Pyerite Pyerite price spike. If you have Pyerite lying around,
Morning, Cumby.
never been a better time to sell, to be honest. Like there's something is going to happen. Something is going to need to happen about this. So if you're sitting on Pyerite, go sell it. If you have ways of mining Pyerite, go mine it. Go actively mine R4 moons, whatever you can do to resupply the market. Pyerite and industrialists.
Oh,
and
hold
PvP.
on. Interesting. Our wormhole could pull R4 moons. We don't because it's stupid. Because mining is dumb. But at double the cost of Pyerite, it might almost be worth doing. I might actually have to look into that.
Years. Well, thank you for it, because Pyerite is just widely used in the economy. Right. Now, moving on.
And if you don't know, all wormhole moons are going to be R4 moons. So if you're in a
other ships,
wormhole,
I mean,
maybe
the
consider
whole-
popping down an Athanor
the
and
whole-
doing some moon mining. See if it works out.
shortage of basic minerals has massive
See ya, Fern.
implications on a lot of ships that use basic minerals as their main input. We talked about the porpoise. Another one is the
Yeah.
Leshak, to be honest.
Yeah, let's talk about the other ships.
Leshak is kind of a double whammy, because if you look at what the Leshak
It's a trig ship and it uses a lot of
abyssal
minerals.
materials that we just discussed that are
Yeah.
ready to spike. It's then also used in using a lot of basic materials, and so the shark prices have been rising quite steadily and are going to keep rising if nothing is done about the situation.
I mean, it doesn't look that crazy.
Because on top of that, they're massively popular. So they're one of the most popular battleships in the game because of the massive amount of damage they can do ramping up. And so Leshak prices, porpoise prices, is all going to be rising in the near future as industrialists adjust to the shortage of minerals and the rise in abyssal materials. Right. I think that does it for the day. Let me check my notes.
Anything else?
Oh yeah, no. Last thing. We talked about this also on stream earlier, but the Pyrolancia drugs. So overall, agency drugs.
All the agencies should be kind of low.
Are in a very good place.
But I
to buy,
see.
right? I don't know why.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There they're going low.
My quick bar seems to be messed up, but if we
So,
go here and we look at
like, whenever
those 4 drugs, for example,
whenever there's an event like the winter event and the Crimson Harvest
trade volume
that drop agencies
drugs out there,
you can
massive
buy them then, and then they're going to obviously go
but,
up throughout the year.
The price has dropped significantly because of in-game events dropping them, and also Twitch drops dropping them, and so.
That's right. Get your Twitch drops. We stream every Monday and Wednesday, starting going around 4 to 5 hours, starting around 2300 Eve time.
You can never go wrong buying those. But also the hard shell and overclocker are, some very, very, very popular drugs to invest in. All right. Deal in drugs, says Oz. All right.
That's right. Deal in drugs, says Nth. I concur.
We'll finish the Oz report today with just a quick reminder that you can look at the dashboard on the Oz.space. Okay, so
the Oz.space. The Oz.space. That's the name of the site.
Some blog.
I'll let him plug.
Here. You can look at the latest videos, but
take it
more
away.
Importantly,
Oz.
you can look at my dashboard. Shout out to Sentenced at Quantum Anomaly.
You can just immediately see it.
Possible. You can. This is now up to the 5-minute. Current market data, and it looks at everything that I do, and you can even set your own daily trade volume barriers up there, and even say what the minimum amount of orders an item should have a day to be on this dashboard. Hugely, it's a dream come true for me to have this available. in on the website. So you guys can now look at the same data I look at. The odds.
All right. Well, that's it for the odds report. Hopefully you guys learned a thing or two. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time, and keep your eye on the markets. Keep your eyes on the Oz.space. It's a pretty easy, good way to make money. You could do it not only just for trading, but you could also probably get some market manufacturing insights on all of this. And until next time, fly interestingly, make some good trades, and ciao for now.